KM Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G, Big Lou. Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, KM Radio. Lots of NFL news, lots of NFL scores. Now we got to figure. Now we know who's where, who's playing where. Some seasons were good, some seasons weren't. Saturday games. So these are the ones that we were talking about last week. Was the Steelers and the Ravens. The Ravens had pulled. Everybody pulled a lot of their people out. Steelers won 17-10. The under was the way, was definitely, both of that. I mean, Ravens finished highest best record in football. The Steelers, to our surprise, are in the playoffs. I mean, so Steelers finished 10-7, 13-4. Yeah, the Ravens 13-4. They're both in the playoffs.
Finished 10-7. He has not had a losing record in the last 20 years.
Yep.
2 decades.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Now the Texans and the Colts. This was a good game. I don't know if you got to watch all of it.
Oh yeah, I got to watch that game. They have their franchise quarterback.
Yes,
I believe they have their coach in D'Amico Ryan. I think the whole dynamic works for them down there because those guys play like they'll run through a brick wall for that guy.
I agree. Both teams are coming off of now the Texans made the playoffs, the Colts did not, but the Colts finished 9-8. I mean, last year both these franchises had terrible records. So really a total turnaround for both franchise. It's interesting. Frank Wright leaves and the Colts start winning again. You know what I mean? When they let him go, you never know.
You never know. Sometimes it's coaching. So you can have all the talent in the world and all of the youth prospects in the world, but it's coaching. What type of coach are you bringing to the team?
Yes, I definitely agree with you there. And then, I mean, both these teams have, like I said, they have taken a 180-degree turn, and I think they're the future. Both of them, I think they're going to be tough next year.
Once Anthony Richardson come back, I think the Colts will be right back in the hunt. It seems like the Jags have took a slide down, but we'll talk about that later.
I agree.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
So the Browns and the Bengals. The Browns obviously pulled Joe Flacco and everybody. They lost to the Bengals, who are not in the playoffs.
Right.
Ended up with a decent record, 9-8. And the Browns, I don't know if he's going to get coach of the year, but my gosh, he should be three quarterbacks. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean,
3 quarterbacks. 4. Three or four quarterbacks, and you still managed to pull off a winning season for
11-6.
Cleveland Browns at that for that, But they're a tough team. They're a well put together team this year. Unfortunately, the quarterback got hurt, but you got Joey Foots. That's my nickname for him, Joey Foots.
He's
doing his thing. He's doing his thing, and congratulations to him and to the Cleveland Browns for having a good season.
11-6. The Lions and the Vikings. The Lions end up 12-5. The Vikings 7-10. And Vikings actually did a little better. I mean, they went through a couple quarterback situations, and all considering, I think they had a pretty decent season considering how many injuries, and they lost Cook and just a lot of stuff. And the Lions, won their first division in many, many years.
Yes, congratulations to those guys. They played their hearts out. And they deserve it. So now they are the number 2 seed so far.
Number 2.
Okay.
Well, actually, we'll look at that. I think they're tied with Dallas for number 2, or they might be number
Okay.
3. Dallas is number 2 because Dallas beat them. The Jaguars and the Titans was a must-win for the Jaguars, and they lost.
Yeah, just couldn't pull it through.
And the Titans, I can't really figure. I mean, they finished 6-11.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna see some changes.
Yeah. If they get rid of Mike Vrabel, he said he's interested in the Patriots job if they could Belichick. So if
Belichick
Belichick
said it
gets
was no. Belichick said it was too early for him to talk on that.
right,
They
right,
asked him that yesterday after they lost to the Jets, 17-3, and he might be interested. Like all this is kind of intertwined. So if he
yeah,
leaves the
yeah,
Titans to go to the Patriots, and then the Jets, who finished 7-10, I mean, there's got to be some moving around. I know they're gonna stick with. I don't know. We'll see. I think they're gonna stick with the head coach of the Jets because I think his saving grace is we didn't have Rodgers.
right.
But they still got a lot of issues besides the quarterback. I
Mm-hmm.
think. I mean, I
Yeah,
think that um, whole offensive line needs to be rebooted. But they did finish
it needs people.
7-10. A lot of these, like I said, were the unders. Played some first halves, did okay with that. So what happened with the Saints? Why were they mad? They felt like they were running up the score.
Well, this is what happened. Normally when you take a victory formation, that means you're just going to kneel, game over because there's no need to score.
Right.
But Jameis Winston, of course, was in the game, and he felt like Jamal Williams had been putting in the work all day. Felt like Jamal Williams needed a touchdown. So when they went to go line up, he's like, okay, we're going to do this victory formation, but we're going to score. So that was all Jameis Winston. And that's why Art Blank, which he got canned anyway. The writing was already on the wall for him, but he was very hot about that. And Dylan Allen was walking to him like, I know, it's my my hot headed, do what he want to do, backup quarterback. Now I get it. I get what James is doing. It seems like he has his heart be in the right place. It's just the execution is bad.
Yeah.
You know, and in those situations, you got to think about the integrity of the game. When you do victory
True.
for me, when that means okay, we're going to kneel, game over. We don't need to score. It's already 43-17. It's just a gentleman's gesture,
Right.
and and that's probably why he's not a starter. Is because of those type of things.
Yeah.
So
That
so he
amongst a
just
lot of
called
things.
that. Yeah, that was just his call. That wasn't call from any of the coaches or anything. That was his call. And I understand his point of view and where he's coming from. It's just it's in that situation it was bigger than Jamal Williams. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you know,
You think he'll
and
be,
that's how that went down.
so you think he'll be back next year?
I don't think so. I think they cut him, and
Yeah.
they're
He'll
either
go
going to
somewhere.
yeah, he'll go somewhere. I think they probably move Payson Hill up, which I think would be a mistake. I think they should, try to find a serviceable backup for Derek Carr, you know,
Yep.
maybe a Tyrod Taylor or somebody like that that's kind of mobile, but, can win you some games. But, those guys are expensive. But we'll see. But I don't think James is going to be there. I think that was writing on the wall because, you
Yeah.
embarrassed your head coach. You got him fussed at on national TV, making him look like he's a hole because he's running the score up because you
Right.
decided the player needs his touchdown.
And so the Saints got eliminated because they lost to Tampa twice.
Yeah, the Bake Show. Yep, lost to the Bake Show twice. So they lead that in the division. So they were the top ranking. And so
Okay, so
they had to lose, and uh I think another team had to lose to us again. I think it was Green Bay or one of those teams. One of those teams
yeah, it
had
was
to lose.
something, or somebody had a
Yeah,
tie, or it was something.
yeah,
It was something.
yeah.
Yeah, now
Something weird.
the the Tampa Bay game, I oh my gosh, that was it was 9-0, and that's how it
Yeah, it
sounds.
was a
Is
hard
how it
watch.
sounds. Yeah. Oh, it was. It was.
It was
They
a hard
couldn't
watch.
get it was they couldn't get anything going. Um, yeah, it was a hard walk. Carolina obviously is going to get some more first round picks. Tampa
Mhm.
Bay wins the NFC South. Um, but yes, it was definitely a hard. Um, Now I watched. This was a good game too. I thought the Bears and Packers. That was a
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good. I thought that was a really
yeah.
good game.
That was a good game.
Um,
Yeah.
and you know the Bears finished 7-10. I don't think that was bad. I mean, I just don't think that was it was terrible. Um,
Right.
I think they're moving in the right direction. Um,
Hmm.
I think they got a good quarterback. I really do. I know a lot. Some people don't like him, but I just think for what he's working with,
Yeah,
I
you just
think he.
need yeah, you just need time to develop. See, we have to slow down with these quarterbacks. Now Joe Burrows, the Patrick Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons, these are anomalies. These
Yeah,
are anomalies.
right.
You can't base every quarterback on those standards. These are anomalies. Some quarterbacks, well, it's going to have to take time, but if you give them time to learn the game, then you'll see their greatness as well. But everybody just slow down on the quarterback development. The most important job and the hardest job on the field. So you got to give them time to, get from college to pros where everything's different, and you got to have 5, 6, 7, 8 different plays in your head because of audibles. So it's just everybody just relax on some of these guys. Give them a few years, and then we'll make our assessment.
I think Jordan Love has come a long way since the beginning of the season.
Yes, he has.
Long way.
Yes, he's starting to get into his own groove, and that's good progress for him.
And the Packers are the wild card.
Hmm.
Um, 9-8, 5-3. Um, so, and then there was the Bronco game, which was we knew that was going to be a good, a good game. The Raiders. Hey, I think the Raiders did a great job of turning around.
Oh yeah,
Because they were a dumpster fire, and the Broncos 8-9. Um, I won't be surprised. I don't think I think you brought this. I know you did. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they cut Wilson
yeah,
and who Sean wants to get in there, because it's obviously it's not him.
right.
I don't know what it is about him that he doesn't. Well, like I said, last year he took advantage of a first year coach,
Hmm.
and some people
Absolutely.
will argue, "Oh no, he. I mean, yeah, he did. He had his own office. Come on, man.
Right.
Yeah,
Really,
nobody else.
Russell.
Yeah, yeah." And so maybe that speaks volumes of what kind of guy he is. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Right. He
and I,
hides behind the good boy. He hides behind that.
yeah,
You know.
he. I watched an interview with. I watched an interview with Lynch. And they're Lynch just looks at him like, no, that was my quarterback and that was my coach. You guys never, and he just looks, no, you never, no, he
No.
was my quarterback and that was my coach. He said, it was a professional friendship or whatever
Hmm.
whatever the word he used. He said, no, there
Yeah.
was no camaraderie. There was no, um, he said, talking about Brady and in New England,
Right.
working with the hot dog guy, saving puppies, playing, whatever. not so much. Not Wilson wasn't that guy,
No,
which is
no.
fine. Yeah, but I guess it'd be interesting to see how they dump him,
Yeah,
how much money they can recap of him.
I'm saying because they got a lot of money to give. They got a lot of money they owe them.
Yeah. Now the Broncos and like I said, the Raiders, they got the new head coach. I think it was a great move. They were, the Raiders, in all realistic, I mean, they were 2 wins away from the playoffs. Game
Yeah.
here, game there, couple this, couple that. Like I said, at the beginning of the season, they were bad. And then
Yeah.
when they fired the head coach and they brought him, when we call it on, I mean, it just, it went
Mhm.
there. So they weren't that far off. And really, that was the Kansas City division was a tight, I mean, Kansas City was 11-6. Vegas and Denver were 8-9. Tough
Mhm.
tough division. But hats off to the Raiders turning it around. The Giants and the Eagles. Eagles have lost what, 5 in a row,
5 in a row.
4 in a row, or row. So
5 or 4. I think it's more like 4. I think.
okay, 4 in a row.
Was
I
it
mean,
4 last? I'll check.
yeah.
I'll check, but I think
So
it's 4 in a row.
so the Jets, the Giants. Well, I guess they started. Let me see if I remember correctly. They started with Marcus Mariota. Well, they started with Hurts, and then they put Marcus Mariota in there. Um, they used Tommy DeVito a couple times. Tyler Taylor had a good day, but yeah, I mean, New York came in, scored 21 in the second
Mhm.
quarter, and really didn't look back from there. It was all New York. Now, New York, they ended up 6-11. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll see if he's still got a coaching job. Um,
Mhm. Right.
he went from coach of the year to not so much. And then the Seattle game. I watched that. That was a really good game. It was a 1-point game. Really was very good. What do you think? What do you think happens with the Cardinals? What do you do? I say you start
Uh,
over.
yeah. I say you start over. I say you. I mean, you got to keep Tyler. What other options do you have? And
Well, you're
then
getting to the end of the deal. Yeah. Well, yeah, you might be stuck with them another year or so. All I know is, it's funny. Big Lou is that some people, like the money they gave Lamar, apparently
Mhm.
well spent. And so and it's like, but not every one of those deals are going to be like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Ask Cleveland, ask Denver. It's like they all. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. That's for sure. But I think you. I don't know. You got to make. You got to. I mean, this is 4 years in a row of the same. You know what I mean? It's
It's going.
they. I mean it. Yeah. Um, he's injury prone. The team's not doing well, but
Mhm.
hey,
I mean, sooner or
yeah.
later, sooner or later it catches
Sooner,
up with
yeah. Sooner or later, I mean, you got to go. Hey, what are we doing here? Um, Seattle finished 9-8. They got eliminated from the playoffs.
you.
Um, Kansas City and the Chargers, 13-12. They always play tough, each one. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, low
now,
scoring game like predicted.
yeah, and yeah, just like we predicted. I mean, granted, nobody was starting. I mean, there wasn't Mahomes. They were resting Mahomes. They were resting. Or no, what we call it? He's injured uh, for the Chargers. So I think you're going to see a lot of changes there next year. 5-12, spent a lot of money,
Yeah.
didn't go anywhere. I think you gotta. I think you got to rattle the cage, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys and I'm sorry, let's go. The Rams and the 49ers. The
Yeah.
Rams and 49ers weren't playing
Yeah, they
Purdy
wasn't
or
playing that
anybody.
sport. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a battle between Carson Wentz and Sam Darnold. Um, and actually, Sam Darnold didn't have a bad day. He didn't throw an interception. But they sure
Right.
did keep everybody. The Rams got in the playoffs. I'm kind of surprised about the Rams and their record. I mean, they
Yeah.
kind of turned it around too, and they could be that dark horse in the well coached. I mean, they still got some talent
Mm-hmm.
on there. They're going to be tough. They're going to
Yeah,
be real tough, actually.
I uh I totally agree. I totally agree. They could be that dark horse that could trip up some of these teams, in their playoff hunt. That's a team that might be able to stick around.
Yeah, that's a team that may stick around. Um, they but they're in the playoffs 10-7. They come. I mean, the San Francisco. I mean, they finished 12-5 even with the loss. They could have, like I said, they're
Mhm.
saving their starters. Um, but the Rams are in. And I'm sure. Now the Cowboys Commanders, not surprised at all. The Cowboys.
Right.
And I think
That's
good.
no, I was about to say, that's the way the score was supposed to look. It's
Yes,
supposed to be like a 38-10, it was supposed to be not necessarily a blowout, but it was supposed to be like a 38-10 or 35-7 or something like that. It was exactly what it was
yeah,
supposed to. So kudos, I had to give my hats off to the Cowboys, because
yeah.
they showed that they could win on the road, even though it was, the Commanders, but at the same time, it's a division rivalry and they play you just as hard as if it was a playoff game. So yeah,
So you
kudos,
think
kudos.
you think Rivera's done?
Yes, I do believe he's
Yeah,
done. I think they're going to give that job to the enemy to keep him there, and because I think the enemy is ready to taste the luxury of having his head coaching experience again. Because we could definitely tell that when he left Kansas City, the offense went down. The offense is hurting right now because of that.
yes,
Maybe it was the
right.
hard nosed discipline that had them locked in and winning like they was winning. They don't have that there anymore. So now it's starting to crumble just a little bit. They still have the talent, but it's just it's just his sauce, I guess, or whatever his mojo is that he puts to make that team the way it was. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Probably going to get Rivera out there, and then definitely going to get a chance. Get him some talent. I like how just I mean, they got new owners, so hopefully they'll be able to bring a little. That used to be a top notch organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The Washington,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, that was. Um, and it's just like sometimes they fade off. They had a lot of. They just had a lot of. They had a bad owner making a
Yeah,
lot of
they had a
bad
bad owner,
decisions.
a lot of losing seasons. So
So just kind of one of those deals. And the last game of the night, did you watch the Buffalo Bills and the Dolphins yesterday?
yes, I will. I watched up to the third quarter, or most of the
It
third quarter.
Man, it was he had so Josh had his interceptions. He had two
Mhm.
interceptions, and they stripped the ball from him. Three turnovers, but
Mhm.
he redeemed himself. Um, Came down and handled business in the fourth quarter, and then the
Mhm.
defense did what they were supposed to do. And hats off. I want to enjoy the win, but at the same time, like I always say, you that's fine. We won. You win any means possible. But for us to have a
Right.
serious shot, we cannot have
No,
turnovers and yeah,
that's
because
tackle.
that's like
Little
yeah,
stuff.
it's little stuff because because I really think Lou in the AFC, the road to the Super Bowl's going through Baltimore. I
Oh yeah,
just do. Yeah,
most
I think,
definitely.
and if you're going to beat them, then you're going to have to keep your penalties down, no turnovers. This can't be amateur hour. This has got to be because anything you do, he's going to make you pay for it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? He is just going to crucify you, and he's going to take advantage of every single short field, and he's going to wear and tear on your on your defense,
Mm-hmm.
and so um, it is what it is. But it was a good win. When
Mm-hmm.
we get back, we got our matchups. Everybody's got matchups. We can go over the spreads. We can go over how many different we got games on Saturday and Sunday. It's that time. I
Mm-hmm.
can't believe the season, Lou. We're almost at the end of the season.
Yes, yes. It flies by. It flies by every time.
It
Even with
does. It
the extra
takes.
game, it flies by.
Yeah, I mean we're going to February 11th this year. Um, that's the Super Bowl. That's later than it's ever been.
Mm.
Um, be interesting. Like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see who is there. So we got a little time before our break. So when we get back again, we're going to break down our matchups, go over, cover as much as we can cover. I want to thank everyone for tuning in every Tuesday, 8 o'clock at KM Radio. Tell you guys that every week, like if you have any questions or you have anything that you're interested in, look us up at KM Radio Facebook or the Sportsbook on Facebook. DM us. People are looking at it all the time. We'll get back to you. We have a really good return rate about when if you ask a question or you need anything, give us a call. We always are interested to talk to some of our sports book army out there. That's for sure.
Yes, sir.
So that is cool. All right, I want to thank my guys over at Big Robbie's, home of the Diamond Table. Some of our sponsors. Tell them Big Lou and Tony G right there in Barksdale Boulevard. Big Robbie's Billiards, home of the Diamond Tables. And if you're in Bossier too, on Benton Road, SI Motorsports. Go in there, tell them Tony G and Big Lou. They got deals on rims, truck lifts, accessories, whatever. They're part of the Sportsbook family also. So give them a call. Tell them Tony G and Big Lou. Again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in every Tuesday night. We'll be back. We got it going on. We're right here on KM Radio where we go ham.
Damn.
KM Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G, Big Lou, the sports book every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. KM Radio, go to kmradio.com, press play 24 hours a day. Great programming, great shows, great music. All right, it's the playoffs. Hard to believe we're already in the playoffs, Lou. Cannot believe it.
Already.
We got
Like we
two.
said before the break, yeah.
It's on
Like
a
we said before the break, yeah, it's flying by, going by so quick.
flying by. Yeah, we got two games. We got two games this Saturday, January 13th. Um, and everything I say this, and a lot of times, man, it's all about matchups. And I think these two games are could set the precedent how this playoff is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
You got Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans.
Right.
Houston is playing at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Houston's getting plus 2.5, and the over's 44. I think Houston's had a great season.
Mm-hmm.
I think C.J. Stroud is definitely Rookie of the Year, unless you got another one. I mean,
No,
I don't think we got
he's
now
all around, yeah, all around we're good at you. Got it.
Rookie of the Year. Yeah. So there's no That's we both agree on that. I just don't think they're ready to beat the Cleveland Browns, though. I think Cleveland is a little much for them. What's
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts? You think they can handle the running game and the?
I don't think they go. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they'll be able to handle all of the work that's going to be given to them throughout that day. With that defense of the Cleveland Browns. I agree with you on that. And I think that might be if they, that might be an issue. It might be the issue, but I agree. Uh, it's it's not going to be good. It's going to be a hard day at work for them.
Now, I think it's going to be a good game, and I
Yeah.
think the way Cleveland is, and here's the thing, man. A lot of people are going, well, when's Joe Flacco gonna? Because Joe Flacco had a couple bad little runs there,
Mm-hmm.
not with Cleveland, but he did not go in the best of situations.
Right.
So that being said, he's in a good situation. They got a good run. They got a great running game. They got a really good line, a really good line, and they got a good defense. And they seem to be very well coached. Um, and I think Houston's up and coming, but I think
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland. I like Cleveland. I like Cleveland -2.5. And right now, I like I like the under. Right now, but that
Okay.
could change. I could definitely change come Saturday. There's
Right.
absolutely no may even drop the over under out of there. I don't um so this is now the next game is that typical when people go, oh, I hate to bet against a Bill Belichick. Or, I mean, now we have to kind of realize like where are the Kansas City Chiefs? They're not
Right.
the they're not the Kansas City Chiefs of last year.
Mm-mm. Not by a long shot.
So not by a long shot. So is this the year Miami goes to Kansas City and beats them? I think there's a couple factors here. One is weather. It could be
Mm-hmm.
a factor. Um, two, you are playing. What's your thoughts? Give me your thoughts on this game.
Well, like you, I agree. One that's on the road, they need this win, to get back on track. Because they just took an L a week before, so they need this win to get back on track. But Kansas City also need this win to hold on to their spot and to get some type of, they got to get the ticket. There's been too much stuff going on with them. And I believe it's the disciplinarian bad cop play of Eric Bieniemy is what's missing in that locker room. I
I
really
think you're right.
think that's what it is
Yeah.
because it's too much
They've
stuff.
had a
You didn't. It wasn't that,
lot.
none of that last season. Last season it was head down. Let's go get it. But yeah, this season not so much. Everybody got
Think
something to
about
say. Everybody's stuff is public.
yeah.
They
That's
didn't
that's
get
that's
any receivers, quality receivers in there that could have changed that could have changed their status in the win column with, undeniably drop passes, and things of that nature.
right.
So yeah, I think hmm,
You think they're ready
I
for the
think
taking?
I don't think that the Dolphins. I like their team. I like how they put together. But there has to be something else than quick run plays and Tyreek Hill. We gotta get some type of, establish what it is first, and then you go and do what it is that you do, so there can be some type of rhythm. But it just seems like too much seasoning in the sauce, maybe.
Yeah.
But that remains to be seen. But I think they're gonna have to break everything to beat the Chiefs. It's gonna be hard to beat them, even though they've taken L's in Arrowhead. But I think this team, I don't think this team will be the team to go up there and beat them. But like you say, weather might play a factor, so we don't know. And this is not the same offense as last year. And I
No.
think that's where I be getting mixed up at because of how they played last year. Sometimes that's what the comparison is for me. And I have to remind myself, no, this is 2023, 2024, this season. You have to break them on this season. They play this season. And I was like, well, the only thing that's missing to me is top receivers and Eric Bieniemy. So I was like, okay, so he was the bad cop, and Andy Reid's the cool cop. He's the good cop. He's the cool guy.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad role. You let them, you know what I mean? You pay your managers to manage, as they
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
But I agree with you. I don't right now, um, and I haven't put extensive work in on the injury report. But right now, I don't think Miami's the team to go in Kansas City and beat them this Saturday. I don't think Kansas City. I would be surprised to see Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, um,
right.
unless some things line up. Um, I'm with you. I like Kansas City. I like Kansas. I like Kansas City at home minus three and a
Mm-hmm.
half. Um, Now this next game is Pittsburgh against my Buffalo Bills. They're going to Buffalo. They're giving Pittsburgh 10 points, which I think is
Wow.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a lot.
Um, but you know, a couple years ago, I remember Pittsburgh was 13-3, and they made it to the playoffs, and they got smoked. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
has to do with their schedule wasn't as tough as it. You know, it is what it is. But at the
Right.
same time, they're giving Pittsburgh 10, and the under over is 35, which I think is really really low.
Yeah.
Um, because I think Pittsburgh can score, 10 points against the Bills, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely think that Buffalo could put. They're going to be well coached. I just don't know about the under. The under's kind of. I don't like the spread. I don't like. So here's the other bad part on this game. This is good old Vegas. If you bet the
Mm-hmm.
Bills on the money line, it's negative 550, which is a lot of juice to give up. Um,
Right.
but you could put if you put the Bills with the over, and it changes it to plus 264. Um, if you bet 50, you win 100. You win three times the amount of money you bet.
Wow.
Um, you bet you bet 50, you win 183 minus the
Okay.
50 you put in. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Almost
Mm-hmm.
three times. 2.64 to be exact, if we're going to get like that. But um, that's not a bad. That's not a bad wager. Um, there's going to be a bunch of prop bets. I'm sure. Josh Allen's going to be 1.5 touchdown, anytime touchdown. So you go to your prop bets. Check the weather. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cold, but I don't think there's like a storm. And the reason why I was, like I made a mistake one time about the weather in Buffalo, and
Mm-hmm.
people always give me a hard time. But the storm never came. It's on Lake Ontario, and it shifts. So at any
Right. Right.
time, it could drop 20 degrees, and you could have a bunch of snow. This time of year,
Mm-hmm.
it can get ugly. But I like the Bills. I'm not saying I don't bet on the Bills, but I like the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
But you can and win minus 10 with the over 35, 35. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys. Do the Green Bay have a shot at this?
I don't think they do. I think Dallas is, they've been wanting to get back home and get in their home field for a while now. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard on those guys, Pauls. Uh, yeah, I don't think that Green Bay has enough. I don't think they have enough. I
Enough,
think
as they
yeah,
say.
yeah, I don't think they have enough muscle. I think Cowboys, and then it's Mike McCarthy's old team, so they're gonna bring it. And he's gonna give them all little nuggets, about certain players. So yeah, it's gonna be hard for them to win this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Dallas at home. I don't think Green Bay has enough weapons to match up. Now, I'm more worried about Green Bay's defense than I am.
Mm-hmm.
This is another prop. Like I said, if they're going to put Dak at 1.5, then I would take the bet on Dak at 1.5, meaning that he's going to throw more than. Basically, he's got to throw 2 touchdowns. Is basically
Right.
where we're at on it. So, but I do the over. This game could get ugly, but the over's 50.5. Again, going over. I like the over 50
Okay.
and a half. I do. Because I think they're going to get loose with it. I really do. I think they're going to get. They're gonna get loose in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the Cowboys minus 7.5.
Okay.
With the over.
Mm-hmm.
Man, like this next game, this could be something. The LA Rams against Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah. LA Rams, Detroit Lions. 12-5, 10-7. And they're playing in Detroit. Now, we're
With
not too sure about LA on the road. We know they can win
no, that's
games on
right.
the road, but there's just certain opponents that, they run into, they just have their number. This is going to be tough because the Lions are, breaking all kind of they're breaking all kind of records for the franchise, and they have nothing to lose because each step from here on out is just, something else they can notch on the belt. So, and I think because of that, they're going to play loosely and they're going to make the proper tackles and they're going to make the coverage that they need to make to win these games. Of the offense up.
I like Detroit at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think it's going to be a good
Mm-hmm.
game.
Yep.
Now both quarterbacks are very familiar with each other, or familiar. I mean, yeah, they know stuff about the other team. I mean, they're both the former quarterbacks of Stanford and golf. I mean, I like Detroit minus 3.5,
Okay.
and I think they're gonna get going. I like the I like the over, which is 51.5. Detroit at home,
Mm-hmm.
playing in the dome. I like it.
Yeah, I like Detroit in this.
Yeah, me too. I like it. All right. Last game, we got two 7:15 games Sunday. I wonder why they did
Mm-hmm.
that. Oh no, we got I'm sorry, we got a Monday night game. We got a Monday
Yeah,
night game.
yeah.
Okay,
Buccaneers versus Eagles versus
Philadelphia.
Buccaneers. Yeah. And they haven't been
I mean,
doing so well They just ran out of gas too soon.
Yeah. You talk about Philly or Tampa?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the
hats off.
Monday night game.
Yeah, hats off to Baker.
Yeah.
Uh,
Big show.
yeah, I'm glad it seems like he found a good home there. They made it to the playoffs the first year he was there. Um, I don't think Philly goes out like that. I think Philly is going to regain their composure.
Mhm.
Um, Now, I'm not saying that Philly doesn't have some issues because they do. Uh, but I like Philly minus 2.5 on the road,
Mhm.
beating beating Tampa. Now, this game, all right, the under's 44.
Mhm.
And because Tampa doesn't have a high flying offense, I like the under 44.
Mhm.
I do. What's your thoughts on that, Philly? You think Philly's going out? You think they're going to save
Uh,
grace? I mean,
they're not playing like a team that will make me believe that they're a non-factor with the Bake Show. It seems like
yeah.
he growing with the team and then starting to trust him as the starting quarterback. He definitely did it good by having a winning record to go to the playoffs. So kudos to the Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I hope they go far. You know,
Yeah. Who do you think was the biggest disappointment this year with teams? Who do you think? Who do you think is looking
hmm.
at? Who did you have high hopes for?
um, I had, believe it or not, I had high hopes for the Colts until Anthony Richardson got hurt, and I said, "Oh, it's gonna be a disaster for the rest of the year." I had high hopes on him. Um,
They hung tough. They finished 9-8.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I think that's probably what it is. I have to study and overanalyze things before, But I would think, yeah.
yeah. Now, in the beginning of the season, did you think the AFC North was going to be that tough?
No,
They
no, I
don't have a
didn't. I
team.
didn't.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, they don't have a team in that division. The team with the
Wow.
worst record is 9-8. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Pittsburgh 110. Cleveland 111. Baltimore 113. That's a tough division.
Right, right. Absolutely. They beat each other up first, and then they go have to go and do it throughout the playoff.
And the AFC, I think for me, the biggest disappointment is the Chargers. I mean, I wasn't expecting Super Bowl, but I wasn't suspecting the total of bowl neither. You know what I mean? I was thinking, I think I picked them for nine plus wins, and they won 5-12. They were 5-12. I think to me in the AFC, they're one of the biggest disappointments. Um, After that, I have to go to the Titans. Not that I just always think the Titans are going to do better, but it just not doesn't seem like it's coming around for them. You know.
Mhm.
And then in the NFC, the only team that I just not that I had these high hopes for, but thought they were going to win win way more is Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I agree, Tony.
four
I'm
games.
right.
I mean, yeah. I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
right
I
there
just
with you,
don't.
Tony. I thought they was going to do better than they than they did. I thought they was gonna be like the third or fourth team in that division, and that was a big meltdown.
Really was, and it just seems like it's the same story, different year being spun off. That's what it seems like to me.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and then like Carolina, I wasn't that surprised. Young quarterback. I mean, they got rookies everywhere. They're in
Hmm.
a reconstruction state. Um, did Carr live up to your expectations this year?
Carr did okay. I mean, Carr did okay for the first season getting in there. I still think that they need an offensive tweak, some innovative, something new. But for the most part, he was okay. Like, he got his interceptions thing, but he grew with the team, he learned. Now, the whole James Winston thing, after that incident, I don't think he's gonna be there. I think the Saints are gonna cut him,
Yeah, I think you're right.
because unless he has a contract, but I think he's gonna get cut after that deal that he did um in the
Has
Atlanta
anyone
game.
taught? Have they anyone interviewed him since?
They right after the game, and that's when he explained why he did what he did. He said it was a team decision, but we all know the team take plays from the quarterback, because the quarterback get the plays from the coach. But coach sent you out there in I formation, and you decided that Jamal Williams needed a touchdown, which got him cussed out profusely by the Atlanta head coach. And he had a I know type attitude as he was walking up to him. But yeah, yeah, that was
Well,
terrible. That was a terrible move. Sometimes you got to fall in line with the overall gentleman sportsmanship of the game. When you line up in victory formation, that means you're taking a knee every time. But you got some players that, and some analysts that agree. You play football till the last second. I'm like, no, that's just trash to go against what's a known unknown, or it's not a rule, but it's known that it takes victory formation at the end of the game. You're already getting whooped, you know. So I'm just gonna take a knee, we run the clock out, we go home. So yeah. So but he did
well,
okay. He did okay. For
yeah,
me. He did okay. I think there's gonna be some improvement there, you know. But like I said, I think they just need some new offensive coordinators to come in and revamp that offense.
yeah. Make it not just like you said. Make it not so predictable.
Right.
Because there for a second, it was just very. And then another thing that I felt with the Saints was it seemed like it took them forever to get going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they'd get going, fourth quarter, 8 minutes left, and it's like, okay, you pulled it out, but why did we go through all? Why didn't we just do this? What we were doing in the
Right.
beginning, be consistent, and it wasn't. It was just like, um,
Yeah, it takes too
yeah,
long to get the rhythm going, and the inability to score in the red.
right.
When you have
Which
Jimmy
one?
Graham, Taysom Hill, Kamara, Oakley, Colston, it's too many weapons to not be able to score in the end zone or come up with plays.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you gotta keep the defense honest with the running, and then you gotta
Mhm.
keep them honest with you. They got to know that you're willing to take a shot. You know what I mean? You
Right.
got to be willing to take a shot at times. But like I said, the Saints did end up with a 9-8 season. Win
Mhm.
here, win there. Could have been 11 and could have easily have been 11 and 11-6,
Right,
which
right.
would have been
Very
a
easy.
different which easily could have been a different output and out. They could be winning the division, having a home game, blase, totally
Mm-hmm.
changed. But I think they're moving in the right direction. Um, in the beginning, I was a little disappointed. Carr came around later in the year. In the beginning, I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, I thought he was going to do really well," and I was like, "I'm going to have to
Mm-hmm.
eat my words." But he did. It finally caught. It caught. So
Yeah.
that's a great thing.
That's a good. Yeah, it's a good sign.
Yeah, good sign, moving in the right direction. So, guys, I want to thank everyone. Thank Big Lou every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. The sports book this year. Hopefully, we can really make this sports book go into its own hemisphere, as they say.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just got to believe in the process, as they say, and it's just one of those things, and we just got to keep grinding and keep moving it around until we get in front of the right people, because
Right,
they're out
right.
there. Yeah, that's part of the thing. I want to thank Ela and everybody at the KM Family station. Thank you guys. You guys make it possible. Thank you, Big Lou. I'll see y'all next Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Tony G, Big Lou Sports Book on KM Radio, where we go ham.
Hell.